Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be going through my entire physical TBR. I have absolutely no idea how many books I have on my physical TBR, but today we are going to find out. As we go through these books, if you see one that you particularly want me to read and include in a vlog, please comment the book down below and somehow I will pick some comments. I'm not sure exactly how I'll do it yet, and I'll make sure to read those in a reading vlog. You can leave as many comments as you want and as many books as you want. Excuse me, get off. Willow, come over here. Okay, let's get into it. I need to now get all of these books off here. One moment, please. Right, let's get into this. I have absolutely no order of how I'm going to go through these books, so let's just do it. Caraval and Legendary, the first two books in the Caraval series. I really want to read this series, but I just haven't picked it up, so please convince me. A Court That's Cruel and Lovely by Stasia Stark and Belladonna by Adeline Grace. Two more fantasy series that I really want to read. Let's just do all the fantasy first, I think. Okay, next we have Crescent City series by Sarah J Maas. I do have the matching hardback in the first book. This is the one that was on my TBR cart, so that's what I'm holding up. Absolutely terrified to start this series, if I'm honest. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A Parker and The Temptation of Magic by Megan Scott. I got these both really recently. Again, two fantasy romances really want to read. Continuing with the fantasy theme, A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft and A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. I don't know why, but neither of these are like high on my list, so if you have read them and loved them, please convince me to pick them up. Two more that I really have no motivation to pick up. What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez and Threads That Bind by Kika Hatsapaulo. Feybound by Sarah L. Arifi. I do really want to read this, and this is on my TBR for this month, so hopefully I might get to it. We will see. Glow by Raven Kennedy. This is book 4. Yep, book 4. And The Prison Healer by Lynette Noon. No, by Lynette Nonny. Sorry about that. The Bridge Kingdom by Daniel L. Jensen and The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Mahurin. One of you guys did tell me in the comments that I should probably read Serpent and Dove before I read this book. A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair and The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Panoranda. This one I've just had for such a long time. I don't know why I've just not read it. And this one, I feel like I've heard really bad things about it, so now I'm scared to read this one, even though it did sound good when I read the blurb. Okay, I think that's pretty much all of my fantasy romance. Oh, okay, no, we have... Is this fantasy? I literally don't even know if it's fantasy. I think it is. Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mira. I'm going to put it in the fantasy section because I'm pretty sure it is a fantasy romance, but maybe just more of like a rom-com version of a fantasy romance, I think. Okay, let's move on to romance. Two L. Kennedy books, The Dixon Rule and The Play. This is the third book in the Briar U series. This is the second book in the Campus Diary series, which is her like newest series. Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey and The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. Again, this one is on my TBR for this month. Hopefully I'll get to it. I've had it for such a long time and wanted to read it for such a long time. Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood and Love Unwritten by Laura Nasher. I just never got around to reading this one at the time that it came out, and now I do really want to read it because I love all of Ali Hazelwood's books. You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle and The Catch by Amy Lee. This is the last book in the Influencer series, so I really want to read this and finish the series. This one, again, I've just had it for such a long time, wanted to read it for such a long time, and I've heard amazing things about it. Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez and Taming Zevon by Chloe Walsh. This is the latest book in the Boys of Torment series, and this is the latest book in whatever this series is called, the Part of Your World series maybe. I have recently decided though that I do want to read Yours Truly before I read this book, which I don't currently own, so I need to get that one. Jane Eyre by Emily Bronte? No. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is like the only classic on my TBR and I do really want to read this. I think I'll probably read it in autumn. That's my plan anyway. Really excited to read this and then also rewatch the film because I love the film. Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Milors. I've had this for such a long time. The cover intrigued me, the blurb intrigued me, but then I felt like I just didn't hear good things about it, so I've not picked it up. And then I've recent purchase, Talking at Night by Claire Daverley. I am really excited to read this one. Like I want to read this really soon. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Can't really group this with any of my other books. It's a historical fiction. I've heard the most amazing things. I've heard that it's really emotional and I'm ready for that. I'm here for that and I am desperate to read this book. And then finally we have Ninth House by Lee Bardugo and Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. Riley Sager. Riley Sager. This is on my TBR again for this month, and I'm hoping I get to it because, to be honest, I'm in such a slump. This might be the perfect kind of book to get me out of it. This one, however, I am very scared to read, so yeah, please convince me that I will like this book and that it's not going to be really hard to read. Okay, so there we have it. Those are the 37 books on my TBR apparently. You know, I'm not too mad at that because I do try to keep my TBR to around 30 books. So we are 7 over, but that is really not as bad as I was expecting it to be. So I'm kind of happy with that. Interestingly, 21 of those books are fantasy or fantasy romance books, which is kind of shocking because I was such a contemporary romance reader. So that's quite shocking that now I have a lot more fantasy romance than anything else, but it kind of makes sense. It's what I have been gravitating towards lately. But clearly I have a lot of them that I do need to get to and read. I only have 10 books that I would class as contemporary romance on here. So that's less than a third of my TBR is contemporary romance, which if you'd have told me that like 2 years ago, I would not have believed you. So yeah, I don't know, I guess my reading tastes are changing. As I said at the start, please leave a comment with books that you would like to see me read. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to see you in my next video. Bye!